Hello, everybody out there in Robolex and YouTube land. Welcome back to Diego Knows. I, of course, am Diego, and today we are going to talk some more about The Devil Wears Prada 2 Electric Boogaloo. All right, the sequel that came out this year. Part 2 came out a few months ago. I believe it was in April, and yeah, I think it was in April. It might have been May. Who cares? Anyway, I never saw part 1 until last year. Last year, I reviewed part 1. It's on this channel, if you don't believe me. So I saw it for the first time last year. Reviewed the whole damn thing. I think right before I was done reviewing it, I had to stop because and Just Like Crap, that show came out. The third season of that abortion was released online on HBO Max, and I had to stop to review that because I started this channel with reviewing Sex and the City episodes. Okay, I've reviewed every single one. Okay, and so of course I'm going to review the sequel show, the reboot, and then the third season just popped up, and I'm like, damn. So once I was done reviewing and Just Like Crap, season 3, the final season, because the show got canceled. It was such a piece of crap. They had to cancel it. It was more woke than woke. Okay, it was woke times 10. Okay, so once that was done, then I finished my review for Devil Wears Prada. And I got to be honest with you here. I don't know. We might have some complications in this movie because I'm going on vacation. Okay, well, I'm going to a concert tonight, so I want to knock this video out before I go. I'm going to go see Earth, Wind, and Fire tonight. Yeah, Earth, Wind, and Fire. Okay, those of you know I love disco. All right, and they were a prominent R&B band back in the disco era. They had a lot of disco songs. I'm sure you know who they are. Like, I know Maurice Williams died, the lead singer. He died in 2016. Okay, but the rest of the band members are still alive, so they're playing here. Okay, so I'm going to go do that tonight. And no, I'm not going alone. Okay, and I have some fun. I'm gonna have some fun. So I'm going to a concert tonight. That's not the big thing. The big thing is that next week, I'm not gonna be here. Okay, I'm going on vacation. I'm going to Hawaii. Okay, I'm gonna be in Hawaii for a week. Okay, so I think just like if you remember last year when I was reviewing and Just Like Crap, I was on vacation. I was in Branson, Missouri on vacation last year, and I still made videos from my hotel room in Branson, Missouri last year. Well, guess what? I'm probably going to be making videos while I'm in my hotel room at the Sheraton Waikiki in Waikiki Beach, okay, on the island of Oahu. Okay, where I have been there before. I was there when I was a kid, but now I'm going there with my son. So anyway, the point is that I am going to be in Hawaii while I'm doing this review. Okay, so you'll probably, see the hotel room. I'll be making videos from my hotel room. Also, I'm probably gonna be posting some videos. Okay, little clips here from Hawaii, so y'all can see what it's like there in Oahu and stuff. We're going to be doing a lot of things over there. So I'm excited about that. That's my vacation spot this year. We're going to Hawaii. Okay? Hawaii. So I'll be there. Anyway, why am I going there? Because that's where the Brady Bunch went. If you remember season 4 of the Brady Bunch, they went there. Remember Vincent Price was there? They had that taboo, that little idol that was cursed, and Greg almost died surfing. Remember that? Okay, yeah, I remember that too. Well, that's the same hotel I'm going to stay at, is from that episode, okay? Anyway, so just wanted to give you a heads up there. So as I continue this review, I'm probably going to be doing some of these videos from Hawaii. All right, good stuff. Now, where did we leave off last time? Now, at Devil Wears Prada Part 2, now we're getting reacquainted with the characters, okay? We know what Andy's been doing. Andy Sachs, played by Anne Hathaway. Apparently, she hasn't really done much shit with her life in the past 20 years. Instead of being a writer, or no, actually, she wasn't a writer yet. She got hired as a writer at the end of part 1. She was an assistant, basically a low-key secretary, okay? And they got treated like crap. And then she excelled to the #1 executive assistant, okay? And she could have progressed in Runway Magazine under Miranda Priestley's tutelage if she had stayed a bitch, okay? But instead, from being a mega bitch like Miranda, she decided to be her regular, normal bitch self. And yes, okay, Annie Sachs is a fucking bitch, Okay, she's a fucking bitch. There's nothing nothing good about her. Just because she's the protagonist and just because she stresses out over shit does not mean that she's a good person. Okay, she is a fucking bitch. Look at the way she treated her friend. Look at the way she treated her boyfriend in the last movie. Yes, I know she apologized to him at the end of the movie. I'm sorry, but she didn't tell him that she fucked another guy, did she? No, she didn't. Okay, and because in these chick flicks, fucking men are always portrayed as these simp, fucking limp dick soy boy beta males. He's like, you know what? I think we can still be friends. I think I can make that happen. Just don't tell me that you'll fuck someone else. You see what I mean? And she's like, get the fuck out of here. She was nicer to Emily, another fucking boss bitch from the last movie, than she was to her own boyfriend. Okay, the guy that supposedly she loved. Okay, the guy that loved her, the guy that moved to New York to be with her. Okay, and she treated him like total shit, and she fucked another guy. All right, so what the hell? Why am I supposed to like Andy? Okay, well, guess what? Here's 20 years later. Now she's in her 40s, and she's still single. Still has no kids. Okay, still nothing. Okay, she's still fucking, grinding it out. Okay, she's still hustling. Okay, working as an editor now instead of a writer. Okay, but now she lost her job, so there's no job security. So what happens? She gets offered a job at a runaway magazine, this time as a editor. I think a creative editor or some shit like that, whatever. Okay, so it's a better position, more pay and all that. And she gets to hire her friends, her writer friends. She gets to hire them to do articles for her. So in that sense, it's good. She was out of a job when they offered her that position. She gets to work with Miranda and Nigel again, okay, which is not as good as it seems because Miranda is still a bitch. Didn't even recognize Andy from the last movie, one of the Emilys. Didn't remember her, okay, which is funny because Andy has never stopped remembering Miranda. She has never stopped remembering what that was like 20 years ago. But the problem with Andy, she hasn't progressed. She hasn't gotten married. She hasn't had kids, okay. As far as her having kids go, she had her eggs frozen, which I know it's a bunch of fucking rich white libtards, okay, do that. Okay, because their career comes first. I've said this in every fucking video, and this movie is just another example of that. Boss bitchiness means your career comes first. Everything else is secondary or not important. Okay, not your kids, not your spouse, okay, not your family. These things are not your health. These things are not as important as your job. Your job comes first. And movies like this idolize that. They portray that as something positive, as a virtue even, to work yourself to death, making money for somebody else. Okay, and that is a virtue in life. That's what you should give your life up to. Okay, you see what I mean? That's what Miranda Priestley is. She's completely indoctrinated into that, and she's indoctrinating other people. Everyone is so fucking hung up on trying to work at Runway Magazine that they're sacrificing their health. They can't even go to the fucking bathroom because they have to give 150% of themselves to the goddamn company, a company that doesn't even fucking remember your name, that doesn't give two shits about you. They're easily disposable, whether you're a low-level fucking a janitor or a writer, or whether you're the fucking the editor-in-chief. Okay, you are disposable. You are easily replaceable. Get the fuck out. We don't need you. We never needed you. You always need us more than we need you. Okay, that is the work culture of Runway Magazine. Hell, that's the work culture of New York. That's capitalism right there. Okay, and this movie portrays that as something good, something that's good for you. Really, being in your mid-40s and having nobody in your life is good for you? Now, Andy says that she did travel the world in the past 20 years. Okay, she went to different places, she wrote a lot of articles for a lot of magazines, okay, but she never got married, she never had children. Now, I'm not saying that that's what defines you, okay? I'm not saying that at all, okay? That you have to have that, or else you're not gonna have a life. What I'm saying is, for most people, that's what their legacy is the most important thing. Because whatever they've done in life, if there's no one to pass it on to, then what does it fucking matter? You see what I mean? Your job cannot love you back. Your job is not going to fucking take care of you. Oh, they'll give you money, but they don't care about you. Do you understand? They don't care. You're just a number. You see, and in this movie, they portray that as something positive. Now, the message in the last movie was basically, no, you want to do what you love. Don't fucking work yourself to death doing shit like this, being an asshole. Okay? Do something that you love. Find, that way, at least when you go to work, you love going to work. Okay? Now, that's supposed to be the foundation for the rest of your life. Okay? Find some hobbies that you like to do. Find someone that you love. Settle down. Find someone that just fucking rocks your world and blows your mind, that you can trust. Okay? And you hold on to that person. Okay? And then you build a family with that person. You see what I mean? And then you raise kids with that person. You buy a house, okay? Your life revolves around you and your family. These got to be the most important things in your life. And I know libtards don't believe in this, but I believe in this. God. You got to put God number one. If you've got all these things, okay, you've got a full life. You've got better than most people. You see, life isn't all about fucking making money, okay? But, you know, I mean, being rich, yes, it solves a lot of problems, okay? But you never hear about poor people getting sued, do you? Of course not. Okay, there's a lot of things that being rich just doesn't, you know, help you with. Like, you see what I mean? And, you know, life is about, like, fulfillment. It's about, you know, growing as a person, you know, being your best self. Learning how to be unselfish. Learning how to care about other people. Because when you do that, they take care of you. Okay, not some fucking corporation. Okay, not when you're just a fucking a number to them. You see what I mean? And unfortunately, you know, capitalism, that's it. You know, it's funny because the people that make these movies hate capitalism. They want socialism. But yet it's capitalism that makes all this shit happen. You know, it's fucking stupid as hell. You know, anyway. I don't get political, but still, okay? Andy Sachs is not a good, even despite all this stuff, she's not a good person, okay? I don't think Sears is a good person. She hasn't progressed in her life. She still lives in a shitty apartment in New York. She's done nothing with her life, okay? She's not in a relationship. She's got nothing going on, okay? Other than her job. That's all she has, okay? You'd think she would have learned her lesson in the last movie, but apparently she didn't, okay? And so now she's going back to Runway Magazine, all right? Working for Miranda again, okay? Getting dressed down by Miranda again. All right. But apparently, you know, she needs the job, right? You'd think that she'd have some sort of job security by now. It's been 20 years. All right. Moving right along. So they have to go at Miranda Priestley, you know, what's her name? Meryl Streep. She's the editor-in-chief of Runway Magazine, you know, and she's going through a scandal right now. Runway Magazine apparently wrote a puff piece on some company called Speed Fash, sorry, like Speed Fashion, okay? And they were doing a sweatshop labor, okay? Which the magazine did not know, but they wrote a wonderful article about them. Then the scandal came out that they were using these unsafe and moralistically wrong work practices. So now Miranda is being accused of being complicit with this, and so the magazine's starting to suffer. Irv Rabbits is the owner of Elias Clark Publications. They own Runway Magazine, and they're putting pressure on Miranda to fix this. Miranda was up for a promotion, I think, to like the executive of all creations or some shit like that. Director of all creative operations for Miranda. It was a high profile position, much better than being editor in chief for Runway. Okay, but I don't understand why. I mean, fucking, she's like, Meryl Streep is like 76 years old, so I'm guessing Miranda is also 76 years old because she looks it. What the hell does a 76-year-old want to get promoted doing anything? She should be retired. You know, like who's to say she's not gonna fucking die next year? Why would you give her a promotion? Why would you wait this long to promote her to that position? Okay, it makes absolutely no sense. But anyway, so that's going on here. Okay, and Miranda did not know that her the owner of the magazine, Irv Rabbits, hired Andy for the editor position. So it kind of got sprung on her. So she's basically treating Andy like shit. Besides the fact she don't remember Andy, she's treating Andy like shit. Like, okay, so fucking the owner of the company forced me to take you under my wing. Fine, let's go. Okay, whatever, you know. But Andy, of course, be like, hey, I'm going to fix us from the scandal. I'm going to reestablish credibility with our company to the people. I'm going to, you know, and Miranda's basically, oh, God, you know, you don't know what the fuck you're doing. You just showed up here a few minutes ago, and now you're going to tell me how you're going to fix this magazine. You don't know the people I know. You don't have the knowledge that I have. You don't, sure as fuck don't have the experience that I have. But instead of her telling her that, she does that later on, okay? She's just being sarcastic to her, okay? Just treating her like shit, gaslighting her and treating her like shit. Just like she did in the last movie. Okay? Okay, so what's going on here? This morning, Miranda and Nigel have a meeting, a very important meeting with Dwar. Okay, there's an executive over there they have to talk to. Because of the scandal, a lot of the fashion, the fashion retailers are threatening to pull their advertisement. Without advertisement, there is no magazine. So now Miranda has to go to each one of these designers and convince them to continue to advertise in her magazine. Okay? That way they don't lose the magazine. Okay? Also, they pay for a lot of the special events, the functions that they do, the galas are paid for by the designers. Okay? So she's got to like win them back. So the first one she has to go to is Dwar. Okay? Which I know it's a real fashion company. Dwar. So she goes to Dwar with Nigel and Andy there. And guess what? Guess who the boss bitch executive that Miranda has to meet with now? It is, you guessed it, Emily Blunt's character. Emily Blunt, Emily's Charlton, okay? A bitch, a British bitch, okay? A complete fucking narcissist, boss bitch, okay? Exactly like Emily Blunt in real life. Holy shit. Wow, it must have been very difficult to cast that character, okay? She is returning, but now Emily Blunt is an A-list actress. She's not a supporting actress anymore, okay? So she's getting a much bigger paycheck to play a more bitchy version of the bitch that she played in the last movie, all right? Basically playing herself, okay, with those Botox cheekbones of hers that just take up the whole fucking screen. Those cheekbones are fucking, I swear to God, man, they're like horizontal. They're like boom, boom, dude. Unbelievable. I've never seen a woman with cheekbones like that, okay? You know damn well she wasn't born that way. She's had some injections, okay? It's obvious, all right? Well, Disclosure Day. Look at that. I couldn't remember the movie in the last video. Disclosure Day. Look at her cheekbones in that movie. What the fuck? She looks like a goddamn alien, right? I think she's the alien in that movie. Anyway, with those fucking cheekbones. But anyway, so she's there. Okay, guess what? Yes, it's Emily Blunt acting like a boss bitch in her designer clothes, judgmental, sarcastic, just basically a younger version of Miranda Priestley, okay? So there's Emily, and of course now Andy's excited because now she's seeing Miranda again, now she's seeing Nigel again, and boom, there's Emily again. In the last movie, Emily was the #1 executive assistant, so she was the #1 secretary, okay? And Andy was the #2 secretary, okay? Andy did fuck over Emily in the last movie. She outpaced her. She was more ruthless, more cunning, okay? More adept. Okay, and she was able to do things for Miranda that Emily couldn't do. But also, you know, they wrote Emily's character in the last movie like she got sick, so that fucking lowered her profitability. That lowered her ability to produce. Okay, and then also she gets hit by a car, so that prevents her from going to Paris, which is what she really wanted to do. Okay, and she was starving herself. Okay, so that she could maintain her figure. Okay, whatever. Okay, all this kind of shit. Right? So that's why they made a big deal of her stuffing her face in the hospital. When she found out she wasn't going to Paris, she started stuffing her face in the hospital. Anyway, so yeah, Andy did fuck her over, but you know, actually, Miranda praised Andy in the last movie for doing that. Like, you gotta be ruthless. It's a dog-eat-dog world. You have to be ruthless if you want to make it in this business. You know, basically, that's what she was teaching Andy, and that was the hump that broke the camel's back. Now Andy's like, I don't want to end up like you, Miranda. I don't not want to be a fucking cold-hearted bitch that has nothing of value in my life. Okay, that all I have is my fucking career and nothing else. I don't want to end up like you 20 years from now. Well, guess what? She ended up like her 20 years from now. Okay, she's still a bitch, not as bad as Miranda, but she's still a bitch. She still has nothing to show for it. No family, no husband, no nothing. All right. Anyway, well, guess what? Okay, that's also Emily's a lot in life. Okay, because Emily's also another boss bitch. This movie is just boss bitches. Okay, that's all it is. One boss bitch meets another boss bitch, teams up with another boss bitch to confront another boss bitch, trying to get the help from another boss bitch. Okay, every fucking person, even the gay guys in this movie are boss bitches. Okay, that's the name of the fucking movie. Boss Bitch 2 Electric Boogaloo. That's all it fucking is. Who gives a shit on? Nobody likes boss bitches in real life. For Christ's sake. Why is it the only likable person in this fucking movie is the gay guy? Oh my God. Anyway, Nigel, by the way, yeah, he's likable. Everyone else is a fucking cunt and a half. All right. Yeah, so there's Emily Blunt there, Emily Charlton. She's there. She's like, am I having a hallucination? Because everything's got to be hyperbolic, you know? You know, it's like sitcom. Like the acting, the tone of this thing is like a sitcom. You know, where people, you know, the Joan Cusack school of acting. Like, you know, like that. Like, you ever watch Friends? You know, like when a normal person talks to somebody, they're like, hey, how you doing? On Friends, it's like, hey, how you doing? Like that, that's what this is. Okay, people are acting in ways that no human being acts that way in real life. All right, so that's going on here. Of course, Andy's excited to see Emily again. That was basically her mentor in the last movie, even though she treated her like total fucking shit. Miranda's like, you also know her? So once again, like I said, Miranda doesn't remember Andy, even though she wrote Andy a letter of recommendation in the last movie. Okay, and she doesn't. She's like, "Oh my God, you mean you know her too?" That kind of thing. So of course Emily remembers Andy. All right, Emily's like, "We were at Runway at the same time." Nigel, hanging on by your fingernails still? Remember when magazines were a thing? That's true. Magazine publishing is fucking dead. As far as like buying a hardcover, everything's Kindle now. And everyone gets their news from social media. They don't need fucking, they don't need to buy a newspaper anymore. Bookstores are going out of business, this and that. If you want a hard copy, I still have books, okay, but most people just download their shit. It saves up space, So yeah, it's gone. Magazines have gone digital now. It's not even a thing. It's like an era that passed by. And she's right. What she meant to Nigel about still hanging on by your fingernails is because Nigel is always in threat of losing his job. In the last movie, he didn't want to be the art director forever. He actually wanted to do his own thing. I think he wanted to design his own clothes. That was his dream in life. And in the last movie, he thought that was going to happen, but then Miranda pulled the rug out from under him. Her most loyal employee. And she fucked him over, okay? So he did not get his opportunity. But he doesn't hate Miranda. He still loves Miranda. He's loyal to her and all that stuff. But Emily knows that deep down inside, Nigel doesn't want to still be working at Runway as an art director. Yeah, I think he wants to design his own clothes or some shit. Whatever gay guys do there. Okay. Which sucks, man. I know I'm laughing about it, but Nigel is a very nice character. He's a really good, well-written character. He's basically, he's sarcastic, but he's not like devious. He's not malicious. There's a method to his madness. Like there's a reason he acts that way. There's a reason he talks to people a certain way. Okay, because he wants them to learn how to do it for themselves. That's how he had to do it. Okay, it's a little bit of tough love, but at the same time, he does give a shit. You see what I mean? So you got to be a really talented actor to have that balance, between being the sarcastic guy and still caring. Okay, still being empathetic and caring. And Nigel does care about what he does. He loves what he does. Okay, and he does care about the people he works with, even though he doesn't really show it that much. He doesn't really. That's not his way of overly expressing it, like your typical gay character would. He doesn't overly express how fabulous people are. He's not raining compliments on people. He's just like, oh, look what TJ Maxx brought in. Okay, but at the same time, he offers very constructive criticism. Okay, and I like that. He doesn't do things for people. He tells them how to do it for themselves. The only thing he actually does for people, he brings a bunch of clothes, like free clothes to let Andy borrow. Well, even that is caring. That one means he gives a shit. He's trying to help out. All right. So Andy tells Emily that she is the new features editor at Runway magazine now. And Emily's like, "You are not." Like she can't believe that Andy still like works for, like in publishing. Okay, he was like, "You're a senior editor now. You're much more confident now." Kept those eyebrows though, didn't you? So she makes fun of her eyebrows. Which, for a woman who has cheeks that are fucking, horizontal from her face, she really shouldn't be, the pot calling the kettle black there. Anyway, Emily tells Miranda that Dwar's association with Runway magazine is based on Miranda's sterling reputation. Okay, it was, and Miranda says like, it was regarding the scandal. Miranda's like, it was a momentary lapse, okay, and that they are trying to rectify it. And even Nigel says like, yes, we will do whatever we have to fix this situation with you, that kind of thing, It's funny because the tables are turned now. In Devil Wears Prada Part 1, it was Emily that had to basically suck Miranda's dick throughout the whole movie, okay? Shower her with praise, do whatever the fuck she told her to do, flatter her all the time, do whatever the fuck Miranda wanted, okay, at any given moment, okay? And now here is Miranda groveling to Emily, you know, instead of it being the other way around. You know, in the first movie, Emily had to put up with Miranda's abuse, okay? Emily had to stand there and watch Miranda start to favor Andy over her, even though Emily had been there longer and had worked harder, you know, and had been more loyal to Miranda. She had to watch Miranda start leaning on Andy instead of her, okay? You know, that bothered her a lot, okay? Because she worked hard to be the number one secretary there, and she lost it to Andy in the last movie. Okay, so there's got to be a sense of betrayal there for her. And now here is Miranda groveling to Emily for a change, you know? So the tables have been turned now, okay? So don't think I didn't notice that, all right? So that's going on here, you know? Andy says, like, you know, we have to retain our journalism, our journalistic integrity. Okay, but we are trying to fix the situation, the scandal, you know, like I said, the sweatshop labor scandal. Okay, but we have to maintain our journalistic integrity. And Emily's like, well, how high-minded of you. He's like, la-di-da. Please help yourself to all the standards galore. But without advertisers, there is no runway. No us, no you. You know, as a result of the scandal, we won 3 pages of advertising credit and a feature on the opening of our new flagship. 6 pages. Nigel's like 3. She's like 5. He's like 4. I'm like, are we at the fish market here? The number is 5. And Miranda like, done. So they're groveling to her. Okay? Miranda's like, absolutely, we'll get right on that. Okay? So this is what's going on. Dwar is opening up a new store. Okay? And they want Runway Magazine to fucking promote the hell out of this new store for free. Yeah, she's got Miranda by the balls here, you know? They fucked up. All right. So, of course, you know, I mean, Miranda capitulates to everything that Emily wants, you know? Now, on their way out of Dwar, okay, they're walking back to the car, okay? Miranda's about to get in the car. Nigel gets in the limousine. Miranda's about to. Andy stops in front of it, okay? Andy's like, Miranda, why did you capitulate to everything that Emily demanded? You know, I guess she was figuring that Miranda would fight back somehow, okay? And Miranda says, you heard the woman. Without advertisers, there's no runway. Without them, there is no us. You heard her. You know? And Andy says, like, I know that, Miranda. Okay, I'm not new. You know? Oh, a little bit of a bitchiness there, huh? Okay? And Miranda's like, okay, let's get something straight here. Okay, now the claws are coming off, okay? No more fucking sarcasm. She's going to tell her straight to her fucking face. Okay? No more of this shit. Let's get something straight, okay? You did not earn this job. I did not hire you. You are the CEO's latest win. I just need to bide my time until you fail. And you will fail. So why don't you take the train back to the office? And it's like, oh, you gotta love that Miranda Priestley, you know, HR tact, you know, when she talks to her employees. You know what? Let me tell you something, okay? I was in the Marine Corps, all right? And when the officers above you, you know, when they offer you constructive criticism, it's a lot worse than what Miranda just fucking told you, okay? It's a lot fucking worse. All right. So I'm tired of women talking about, oh my God, why did she say that to her? That was so cruel. No, that was nothing. Try fucking boot camp. Okay. And see how many times you get fucking yelled at. Okay. And criticized and demeaned and dehumanized and emasculated. Okay. It happens all the fucking time. And just because you graduate boot camp in the Marines, don't think for one fucking second that you're never going to get fucking yelled at again by a superior officer. You will. You will. And it won't be as nice as this. All right. Apparently, Emily was right down the sidewalk and she saw all of this. And she's just like, pointing to the train station, like she needs to take the train back. All right. Okay, so of course, you know, Andy being self-conscious, she gets back to her shitty apartment and looks at herself in the mirror. Oh, I like my eyebrows, you know, because, you know, whatever, it's girl shit. Okay, so the next day at Runway Magazine, she meets the assistant number 2, okay, who's this fat gay guy named Charlie, who sits on his fat ass the whole movie. Literally, he never gets up in this movie. You never see him standing up in the movie. He's always sitting in front of the number 2 secretary desk there, okay? It's a gay guy. And I also told you that the number 1 assistant, her name is Amari Mari. Yes, that's her character's name, Amari Mari. And she's a black girl, okay? So see how they went woke? Okay, now you got a black woman assistant and a gay guy assistant. You can't have 2 straight white women as assistants anymore, okay? Because that's racist, okay? And that's homophobic. You have to have a gay guy and a black woman. You see what I mean? That's a way of showing you that they're not racist or homophobic. Okay? So that's going on here. Okay? They call him Charlie the Chair. That's his nickname because his big fat ass never gets up off the chair. Okay? Anyway, fat gay guy. All right? Okay? So that's going on here. Okay? What do you call it? Apparently he never gets up from the desk. Like he asked Amari for permission to go pee because he had a Starbucks cappuccino or something. He's like, can I use the restroom? She's like, is it worth it? And he's like, no, it's not. So he goes back to whatever the fuck he was doing. Okay. He can't even get up off his desk to go pee. All right, take a piss. That's sad. All right, but that's the work culture there at Runway Magazine. Okay. Amari, like I said, this is number 1. She makes a remark to Andy about being on time. You know, she says something like Andy says, "Oh, I'm here on time." She's like, "Oh, yes, you're one of those people that thinks that being on time actually means being on time." You know, like that. Okay. And she shows her her new office, which is not really an office. It's a storage room full of a lot of fucking clutter. Okay, there's file cabinets and boxes and shit and paper everywhere, okay? And now Andy is replacing Ashley. We don't know who Ashley, we've never seen Ashley in the movie, but Ashley was the new features director or editor, okay, at Runway Magazine. And then Irv hired Andy, so that immediately told Miranda she needed to fire Ashley. Okay, so Ashley, even though we never seen her, we do know that Andy's predecessor was named Ashley. Okay, so Andy's like, is this the same office that Ashley had? And Amari says like, oh, no, it's not. But it is the office that Miranda said you're going to have. Like that, okay? Once again, no respect. And I understand the method to her madness. Okay, Miranda was this way in the last movie. Okay, you got to earn respect. Okay, yes, I know Miranda's a fucking bitch, okay? But there is a method to her madness. You have to earn respect. Okay, respect isn't something that's handed to you. You have to earn it. You have to prove that you're worthy of it. Okay, that's what Miranda had. That's how Miranda rose up in the company. So that's what she expects from her subordinates, to prove their worth to her the way she had to do it. Now, the side effect of this is that, you know, yeah, she will lose a lot of employees that way because nobody wants to do that for the rest of their life. But for the ones that do make it through, that do earn her respect, they're going to end up like her. All right, for the most part. And I don't know which fate is worse. All right. So that's going on here, okay? Later, Nigel shows up and he smuggled Andy some new outfits, you know, some designer clothes. He smuggled them to her and asked her to lunch with him in the cafeteria, okay? So they're going back to the cafeteria again like they did in the first movie to have a little one-on-one talk over there, okay? Nigel and Andy, they catch up. What's been going on? You know, obviously, the internet, the proliferation of the internet kind of destroyed the publishing business. So, you know, Nigel doesn't get nearly as much of a budget, okay, for features as he used to. You know, so he's kind of complaining about that. There've been cutbacks all the way around. Okay, Runway pretty much exists as a digital magazine now instead of an actual book magazine, you know, but there are still a few people that buy the book version, okay, you know, that kind of stuff, you know. Budgets have been slashed. He tells her that Miranda is on edge. The reason Miranda is on edge right now is because she's worried about getting that promotion, okay, you know, and the scandal might derail that promotion that she was supposed to get. Okay, so Andy's like, oh, so Miranda needs me. That's why I'm here. And Nigel's like, oh, you were serious. No. Once again, Andy's ego is getting the better of her. Okay, no, Miranda does not need Andy. Okay, what did I just fucking say? Miranda had to prove her worth to get to where she is. Yes, she's a fucking insufferable cunt. Okay, but she knows the fucking business. Okay, she exchanged her soul so that she could be at the top of her game in the fucking fashion industry. Okay, pretty much no one, okay, in New York probably knows as much about the fashion magazine business as Miranda Priestley does. Okay, so she has had to, save this magazine many times in the past. Okay, for mostly by herself. Okay, so no, she does not need Andy at all. Okay, that's the Irv thinks that she needs Andy. Okay, Miranda already has a plan to save the fucking magazine and to save her promotion. Okay, that's just the thing. Okay, she's not going to depend on Andy for nothing until Andy proves herself. You see what I mean? All right. Okay, so that's going on. Okay, Andy meets her new assistant. Okay, an Asian girl named Jin Chow. Okay, so Jin Chow is going to be her secretary. All right, she was an intern until today. Okay, and the reason she got the job as Andy's assistant is because nobody wanted it. Okay. Okay. But she's a Yale graduate, so that's something, okay? And she notices Miranda struggling. Andy notices Miranda struggling to hang up her heavy fur coat, okay? Like, she's like, oh, trying to put it on the hook on the wall. And Andy's like, what? Is that Miranda hanging up her coat? Because you remember in the first movie, Miranda would show up to work and throw her coat on the number 2 assistant's desk, okay? And it was their job to fucking hang up her coat. So that's what Andy had to do. Okay, but apparently now HR put a stop to that shit. So one of the reasons that Miranda has Amari, black girl, as her number 1 assistant is to be the PC police. Okay, basically she's there to keep HR happy. Okay, Amari is there to make sure that Miranda doesn't say anything that anybody could complain to HR about. Okay. So she's basically there to either nod yes or shake no. Okay, whenever Miranda says something, okay, that could be considered, racist or homophobic or that kind of a thing. Okay, that's why she's there. Okay, so apparently HR is basically handcuffed Miranda from doing some of the shit that she did in the first movie. Okay, so she's not allowed to throw her coat onto the assistant's desk anymore. Now she has to hang up her own coat. All right. So Andy notices this, she's like, okay, HR made her do it herself now, okay? Andy's like, maybe some things have changed here. Okay, so that's going on. Andy works late, okay, and she talks to the second assistant. I said, what's his name? Charlie the chair, the fat ass, okay? The gay fat Charlie the chair. Okay, and they start talking, and she used to be the number 2 assistant like Charlie. So, she's like, it's late at night now. And she's like, oh, so you're waiting for the book. Now, in the first movie, the number 2 assistant, one of their jobs was to stay late, okay, until the book was ready. The book was like it was like a manuscript version of the magazine that they're going to publish next week or next month, okay? And Miranda insisted that the number 2 assistant delivers it to her house on a certain table, but not allowed to go up the stairs. Okay. Well, of course, Andy went up the stairs in the last movie. Okay. And she delivered the book. Apparently, Miranda still demands that of the number 2. So the number 2 assistant has to stay there well late into the night to deliver Miranda the book. Okay. So Charlie the Chair's sitting there waiting for the book, and she gives him a piece of paper and says, hey, can you deliver this to Miranda when you deliver the book? And she, oh, by the way, a word of advice, whatever you do, whatever anybody tells you, when you get there, do not go up the stairs. Okay? And he's like, Who would be stupid enough to do that? And she's like, nobody. And walks away. I like the references. Like I said, I know for a lot of you, you saw The Devil Wears Prada 20 years ago when it first came out. Okay, I saw it last year. So this stuff is still kind of fresh in my mind. I'm like, okay, yes. Okay, I get it. All right. So Andy wakes up, okay, and she sees her her apology article, okay, on social media, okay. So she wrote an article basically accepting culpability for the scandal, basically telling the entire world that yes, Runway magazine was at fault, okay, and that they're trying to earn back the trust of the readers, okay. Basically, that's what it was, a mea culpa, okay. So that's going on here, okay. It says the title of the article is Runway and Speed Flash, How We Got It So Wrong. Okay? Runway, like, you know, mea culpa article explains how they screwed up. Okay? Unfortunately, not very many people are actually read that article. Okay? But she's going to find that out later on. Okay? All right. I'm going to stop my review right here, but I'll be back soon to continue my review of Devil Wears Prada Part 2, Electric Boogaloo. I thank you very much for watching this long. I will see you soon on the next one. Bye.